Hey guys, it's me, TheDominusIgnis, and okay, it's time for a little bit of an update video in Robot Arena 2. I was going to do these every single month, but life has a way. But hey, there's still stuff to talk about, so let's jump into things. So let's just take a look at the robots so far. So, Barbarian's obviously Barbarian. I'm like, I don't think there's ever going to be an update there. Like, Barbarian was like a stock robot that I wanted to make in DSL. I made it. It just sits there as like, I finally achieved that. On Hell's Angel, there's been a few changes here. I was recommended to lift the hammer up, and seeing it perform, that was spot on the money. I did need to raise the hammer. It was because what would happen is when it would pull down there, it would get stuck. Now, as you can see, it's perfectly fine. It won't get stuck anymore. You know, it does leave that, which I'm not sure how I feel about that at the moment. But another thing is I'm experimenting with the front. Now, the thing with the front is right now this seems to be the new meta, is this front here. But I've tried to do it in a way that would be a bit more Hell's Angel-ish in appearance, you know. Because I remember Robotia brought up how this is the new front, but that it might not work with Hell's Angel because, you know, the forks are such a part of the look of Hell's Angel. It's what it's had since the beginning. So I was like, okay, well, let me see if I can find a way to make it look at least a little more like Hell's Angel. And this is what I've got so far. Hell's Angel has been getting into some competitions here and there. I actually have some like scoreboard thing. Hold on, I'm going to find that real quick. Yeah, so Hell's Angel's been entering into some competitions while I do these little iterations. Oh, the thing doesn't actually show up on the bot when it's spawned in. Okay, so it might be fine. Anyway, Hell's Angel's had some middling performances. I don't think this particular version has entered yet, like with the new plates, I guess, at the front. But I guess we'll see how that goes. I'm not expecting a whole lot, but if I can get Hell's Angel to win more than one fight, that'll be great. Because Hell's Angel has won a fight or two so far this year, which I'm quite happy about. It means there's still maybe a little bit of life in it. Anyway, then you've got. Okay, we're gonna skip Death Valley for just a second. I've just pulled out my headphones. I'm very smart, but I want to talk about Lord Scarecrow. I am very tempted to do a full. I don't know what I'm doing with Lord Scarecrow at the moment. I know people have said that they like Lord Scarecrow, and I've had my fun with Lord Scarecrow as well. But at this point, I feel like I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it, and. You know, feel free to let me know if I am absolutely overthinking it, but I don't know, there's just stuff about it where I'm like, oh, you know, it's not, there's not much going on with Lord Scarecrow anymore, like, it's kind of, like, found its place, and it's just the most minor of minor updates, and I don't know, I guess I just don't feel right when Lord Scarecrow, when a robot is just, like, barely getting updated at all. I feel like there should be something done. Anyway, but again, I may be overthinking it. But yeah, all that's really happened here is I experimented with the front there. It's not gonna help because Lord Scarecrow is extremely top-heavy because of the way that it's designed. I think even if I was to keep the same general design, I'd have to probably redo it just to try and get a bit more weight down at the bottom. Anyway, on the Death Valley front, we have Death Valley here. Death Valley, of course, is experimenting with some stuff. It's got this new front, which I'm tinkering with. Don't know if it's going to really do much. It is entering the new Orcs Wars, so we'll see how it does there. Wait, hold on. I say we'll see how it does there. Is that already out yet? Have I watched it already? There is a chance I've already watched it. My brain is completely just had a fart. Ah, Heat A is out. Yeah, check out Orcs Wars 6. Because it genuinely is really, like, it's a really good series. Like, I love Orcs Wars. But yeah, like, that's the version I made there. So with Keeper, I feel like I'm onto something, but I feel like there's still work to be done there. It went 0-2, not too thrilled with its performance, but I feel like I'm getting onto something there, but we'll have to wait and see. Wipeout. Oh, Wipeout. So, okay, Wipeout's performance isn't here in the heavyweights. We're going to have to move down to the cruiserweights for a second. Because I entered Wipeout into Buster Games. Because for the longest time for a good while now, I thought, okay, I'm done with Wipeout. It's had a fun run, but There's so many front hinge flippers. I don't see the point in adding another one. I don't see the point. Because here's the thing, right? If you make a 6 out of 10, like, clamp bot, I think you're probably making, like, one of the better clamp bots in the community. If you're making a 6 out of 10 vertical spinner or a 6 out of 10, like, front hinge flipper, then you're in probably the bottom percentile, like, because it's so much more crowded. And I was thinking, well, I don't see much point in entering my front hinge flipper because it's not even close. But then I loaded in this old Wipeout because I was like, okay, I want to see what like weight saving it does. You know, I think I was more curious than anything, and I realized, oh, with all the stuff from the updates to DSL, this Wipeout becomes a cruiserweight. So I didn't like change up I've changed up the front now to get this like lower front on it. It actually did pretty darn well. Like, well, what was the score it ended up getting? I'm trying to find it now. 4-2. That's quite surprising, but I guess like this was always like probably the peak of like my competitive designs right here. This specific version of Wipeout. So I guess that's not too surprising. And with the newer front to make it a little bit more meta, it tracks. So, but yeah, I was quite happy with it. I was quite happy to see that Wipeout was doing well, because, again, my expectations were quite low. Anyway, back to the heavyweights. Oh, yeah, I forgot about this. Oh, I've just thought that's a very unfortunate place for the spinner, but this is Melvin. Oh my god! Oh, okay. So in terms of the most recent bots, though, we do need to talk about ActBot. See, Botbuster made another competition called, like, it was RA2 Tress. Now, here's the thing, right? Here's the story of how that went. So, I saw Botbuster post about that, and I was like, huh, let me just ask if it's available, you know, if it's still open. Because I think it was like a day or two later. I was like, hey, is it still open? Yep, Botbuster says, you know, and Botbuster is like, yep, absolutely, you know, it's still open. And I'm like, sweet, you know, and in my head, I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to read the rules now and decide if I want to enter. And then I noticed I'm in the group chat. I'm already, I didn't realize, but accidentally I did end up in the competition because of that. Not a problem though. I want to stress that that's not a problem, because in the end I was able to. I was extremely busy because like my jobs ended up needing me more. Like my first job needed me for additional tasks, and my second job needed me because like everyone was either sick or on holiday. So I didn't have much time to make a robot. I'm giving this like context like before we go into the bot itself, right? I was thinking like, okay, I need to make something quick. I need to be able to get something, because I don't want to like be the jerk who doesn't enter a robot and then like it's like, okay, well, what do we do? You know, we're missing a robot. So I was like, okay, I think Sajaris suggested I make a fast robot. So, and I got the clamp design, right? I think I went with clamp because I was thinking, oh, you know, Death Valley, sure. And so I made ActBot. Now, ACT is actually an acronym. Oh gosh. Okay, so yeah, that gives an idea on my expectations for this thing. It has 6-wheel drive. It has obviously the grab and lifter mechanism, and it's got like these. My first thought was like Whiplash, right? Like with the bits there, but this is kind of like free shipping really with the front. But yeah, it's 6-wheel drive. I thought this would be kind of neat, the internal wheels. But yeah, I was thinking 6-wheel drive because that means it'll go fast, and boy does it go fast. Nyom, nyom. Now, admittedly with 2 of the wheels being internal, it doesn't turn as fast as its, you know, dashes, which has in its performances, I will say this, in its performances has meant that in terms of turning, it does struggle a little bit. And it's, of course, able to, like, tip over really, really easily. But as you can see, It's got some... Woo! Woo! Oh my god, I didn't even know it could do this. Because I didn't have time to really test it all that much. I was like, does it work? Yes. Okay, I'll throw it in one fight. Okay, it works. Good. We are good to go. We are done here. It's in the competition. Now, the competition is not done yet. The competition isn't done yet. Would you believe if I told you this thing is currently 4-2? And all 4 of the wins are out of the arenas. Oh my god. Yeah. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. I am considering giving the bot a reskin. Like, because my thought is like, okay, if it ends up doing really well, I could probably just keep it around. You know, maybe make it a Deltarune themed robot, and like that's my thought is like, if it does really well, if it keeps this up, I might like reskin it to like be Deltarune themed, and change the act. I mean, we all know in our hearts what the act actually stands for, but I could turn it into like acting from Deltarune. So I don't know. Like, I think that could be a neat little thing, and we've unexpectedly potentially got a new entry into the permanent heavyweights roster. So, I mean, it works! On the super heavyweights front, there's not a lot to report. I did have 2 robots of mine enter into competition, that being Blunt Force Trauma and Gladiator. Gladiator finally got to compete. I was so glad, because Gladiator was meant to be for Rebuttal Wars 1.5 and 2.0. It obviously never came to fruition. And so Gladiator's been sitting here with nothing really to do for years. And I was like, I know it's not going to do well, because it's a robot that was it was built to be a decent robot back in an ancient meta. So I don't really care. I'm more doing this so I can finally say it's actually competed. It ended up actually going 1 and 2, so I can't complain. Blunt Force Trauma actually did better with a 2 and 2 record. As you can see, it's got a little... I don't remember if it had the lip when I entered it into battle, but I do have that now, at least, if I throw it into another competition. But yeah, it's not my 4 E-Tech Drive Rambot. Also, I did start making a super heavyweight keeper. I think I'm going to redo this, if memory serves correct, because I don't think I like it after all. Yeah, I'm definitely redoing this. Anyway, but I might as well explain. Basically, there is a keeper for every weight class, including the super heavyweights, but each keeper is usually unique, except for the super heavyweights, where it's just a bigger keeper. So my thought process was, I'm going to make one more keeper family member, at least for now. And this one can be in the super heavyweights, and it's going to be... cool. Yeah, it's literally just going to be like keeper, cooler keeper. That one meme. And the idea is that instead of making like long boys like I have with the keeper line, this one's going to be wide. Hence, like, why the design is the way it is. It's actually got like 4... I don't even know if it's legal. I want to stress this. I haven't been looking at rules when I was making this. I was just thinking, okay, what would be cool? Okay, we got 2 hammer motors. They are on separate motors. This isn't an Emotes situation. And we have the 2 flippers. And of course, that's the idea, is that it's just big. I think there was like some big issues with it, so I would have to probably completely rebuild it. But, it's at least an idea on what I'm going to be working towards, at least. Anyway, on the cruiserweights front, how did the other keepers do? I think they all did terribly, because obviously they're all a bit old now, and was just entered for the sake of entering. Oh yeah! I entered Blunt Force Trauma Jr. in, who, to be clear, oh yeah, I definitely did not have that lip in when I was putting Blunt Force Trauma Jr. in. It was like it here in this picture, where there was no lip. It was just that wedge. And I remember that wedge I built in because... Okay, so this bot for a long time, Blunt Force Trauma Jr., was this body, but it had like that generic scoop, like the one like the one-piece scoop. But over time, I was like, okay, let me finally update this and enter it into Buster Games. I might recess those a little bit more. Anyway, sorry, I'm getting off track. It did terribly. It went 0-2, but I kind of expected that because it was like not ready for prime time. I put the lip on. Next time we get into a competition, maybe it'll do a little better. Obviously, we talked about Wipeout. It did really well. Gold Rush is here because I am half considering just, like, remaking it. Like, as much of a meme as it is, I have considered making a new top flipper. I don't know. Maybe not, but we'll see. It is in the maybe pile. We got Mrs. Keeper, which was the only Keeper to not enter into Buster Games. Have I mentioned Insectotron? I think I did in a previous video. That's Insectotron. In the middleweights, not much has happened here, truthfully. We have, like, this is, like, an old robot that I made when I started DSL. And this is, like, my attempt to, like, where I'm starting to try and make a new one. I've got to remake this one entirely as well. This one is a case where I built the prototype, but there's, like, 50 million, like, issues that I would rework in a new version. But the idea is that I'm going to end up making an American launcher. Well, that went well. Anyway, but yeah, like, I'm going to end up making an American launcher version of Smiler. Because, like, that's what the Smilers ended up becoming, basically, when I was making them in DSL over time, in my personal time. So, yeah, you might see me down the line with an American launcher. Keith, how did Keith do? Keith did terribly, not surprised. Okay, we gotta talk. We gotta talk about this, don't we? Tesco Value Lord Scarecrow. Okay, so this was based off an idea I had back in the day. I think Banter Wars at one point was accepting entries, and I really wanted to enter Lord Scarecrow into stock, but I realized I couldn't make proper Lord Scarecrow, so then I was going to make like something like this, but there was going to be like Piston Fists, and it was going to be called Tesco Value Lord Scarecrow. It never ended up happening. So I started in this, but I only got as far as making this Roomba-ass face. And despite the fact that it is a lightweight... Wait, what's its weight, actually? Yeah, even though it would be a lightweight, I think I remember specifically saying to Bobbuster, please enter it into the middleweight because it will be funny. And it was funny to me. It was very funny to me, so mission accomplished. Never going to be a competitive design. That's not my intention. My intention there was just funny robots. Then in the lightweight, have I done much here? Oh, I tried making a shell. Bleh, bleh. Sorry, I kind of don't like that. Anyway, how did Edgy Keeper do again? 0-2. Yeah, not surprised. I have started the process. This was very much a rush build. But I have started the process of making Forest Fire Maximus, another one of my early DSL builds, as a lightweight. A lot of my bots have been like a bit more rush builds lately, admittedly. It's been a combination of time and probably, to be honest, just me not wanting to spend 5,000 years and overthink things. Because, I mean, I'm overthinking Lord Scarecrow. Like, if that's not an indication. This did not do well, because obviously it was not ready. Like, how did it do again? I think it was 0-2. Oh, did I not enter it? What did I enter instead? I can't remember now. I thought I entered it, and I think it didn't do very well, but either way. The idea is that I'm going to make a drum spinner with a flamethrower, and this is basically like version 1, maybe 0.5. Lightweights have not gotten much love from me, admittedly. Oh, speaking of not much love, yeah, Keeper Jr. did badly. Moving on. Outweights. So we got Baby Keeper, which did poorly, but weirdly enough, it has actually gotten some upgrades. Because of the weight bonus thing, I was actually able to put like some stronger motors in it. Oh man, look at the state of this. Like, these are slightly stronger. I think these are slightly stronger. I think this is slightly longer. Like, Baby Keeper, despite what you may think, has had some minor upgrades now. So it's no longer barely alive. It is now, like, actually it has now got some level of conscious thought. As crazy as that is to say. It is still that, but... I mean, look, listen. Do you really think when I was making Baby Keeper, I was thinking, let's make a bot that'll win? No, at that time, I was thinking, can I make a... This is pre-Crash Patch update, keep in mind. Can I even make this bot? Was my thought process. And the answer at that time was barely. Now, it's a little bit more possible. And then finally, this one was... When I say rush build, this was the rushiest rush build. I remember, like, I was, like... I think it was, like, literally down to, like, the final hours. And it was, like, I could enter another ant weight. And I was like, okay, let's make a pussycat bot. And so I did. And I think I won one fight, but I think that was purely, like, due to, like, AI, like, messery. I don't think Run actually won from any, like... goodness of its own, you know, any merit of its own design. But yeah, that's Runt. It's a pussycat-style robot that I made because I thought, hey, that could be kind of neat. And, you know, like, despite the fact that I don't think it's very good, I can't say that I dislike it. Like, for a rush build, it's an ant weight, you know, I mean, it feels right. Anyway. Oh, yeah. I remember... Okay, so this was in, like... I remember, like, when I was, like, told to make a clamp. This was, like, my... Oh, man. This is another clamp that I'm making. Cool. I think it was going to be called something like Plan B, and it was going to be, like, B-themed. And I think my idea was that I was going to put, like, very little into the actual clamp part itself. It was essentially going to be, like, this thing is going to be, like, a brick. That's just Death Valley again. I can't help myself. I just keep making Death Valley again. Okay, I need to rethink Plan B. Oh, that was awful to think about. Oh, that was crushing to just realize that I'm just making Death Valley again. I've got Death Valley. I don't need to make another one. It's fine. It still performs fine. It could perform better, but it's still performing fine. I don't need to make another Death Valley. The only thing is now is, like, I don't know what enough... I think the grabber and lifter thing, at least in my heavyweights, is well and truly spoken for. Because now I've got, like, this, like, absolutely stupid one, and then I've got the more sensible one. So, basically, like, this is more just a thing of, like, going through all my different bots that's been going on. I know this may not be the most exciting video, but I want to try and get back into doing these videos again. Obviously, RE2, like the RE2 Team Fortress 2 series by Blockbuster is still going at the time of recording, so be sure to check that out. And maybe Akbot will win some more fights, or maybe its record will nosedive. Who knows? Obviously, I'm still working on Hell's Angel. I want to try and get Hell's Angel up to a more competitive point, because there does seem to be something there, but it just requires my boneheaded butt to, like, put the pieces together. And who knows, maybe there'll be another super heavyweight competition where Blunt Force Trauma can continue to do its thing. And maybe one day I'll get over, like, my weird hang-ups with Lord Scarecrow, basically having already reached perfection like it has. Thank you so much for watching this video in RE2 DSL, looking at the robots that I've been up to. This is just a short update video, just so I wanted to go over everything. And yeah, I hope to see you all next time. Bye, guys!